And welcome everybody to the Skol Wolves podcast. This place to talk about Minnesota's top two teams, the Vikings and Timberwolves. In this episode, I take a deep dive into the biggest star on the Timberwolves, Karl Anthony Towns. What kind of season did he have last year? What can he improve on? And much, much more. Now, let's get into it. Okay, so Karl Anthony Towns stamped himself as kind of one of the truly elite centers in the NBA, and even not just on centers, but players in the NBA. And he's obviously the cornerstone of the Minnesota Timberwolves. He had a great 2021-22 season. He averaged just under 25 points, 53% from the field, 41% from three, 82 from the free throw line, just under 10 rebounds a game, 3.6 assists. And something new for Cat, he played 74 games this year, which is great to see that after 2 years ago, he's not kind of fallen into an injury-prone kind of player. He was selected to the All-NBA third team for the second time in his career, in which that made him eligible for the Supermax extension, which he signed, and he became an All-Star once again for, I think, the third time, and he also was the three-point champion, which kind of big for the centers. But kind of what made Cat's season so outstanding and like what made it the best season of his career was how he brought the Timberwolves to the playoffs. Basically, like he led the team. Like back in, I think it was when they had Jimmy Butler. It was Jimmy Butler's team. Now it's Cat's team, and he brought him to the playoffs. And that's something that has not happened. But, in the playoffs, people kind of said you could tell that Cat did not play to the level he wanted. I mean, he still averaged like 22 points a game, 11 rebounds, but like there were games where he would just disappear, and you can't have that in the playoffs. And those are the games that people are obviously going to focus on. And Cat definitely cares about what the media is saying about him, and the media is saying that he choked in the playoffs, which, I mean, it's up to you to decide if that's true or not, but can't deny the facts that he did not play his normal level in the playoffs. So kind of like my favorite memory or from this past season, I think it would have to be that dunk he had on Jaren Jackson Jr. in the playoffs. Like, Cat was just going on a tear. You've probably seen it a million times. But that's probably easily my favorite memory from this year, because just the emotion that was in that series, because they wanted it so bad, and just yam it on Jaren Jackson Jr., who kind of dominated the first couple of games. So kind of now some bright spots about Cat. I mean, you know him. He's basically an all-around player, but what really sets him apart is his driving ability. For a big man, Cat statistically has the second most drives per game, just behind Giannis. And, that's not something you would typically see from a self-proclaimed shooting big, that he's able to take his guy off the dribble. And so Cat's drives per game over the past every year in his career has gone up almost every year, and it went up a ton from this past year. Went up from 5.6 drives to 7.9 drives per game, and his points per game from drives went up two as well, from 4.5 to 6.6. Cat's scoring versatility is also what sets him apart. He's basically a unicorn. He's 7 feet tall, one of the best shooters in the league. Can take his guy off the dribble. Can take him down the post. I mean, he can basically do it all. But Cat is ranked as the second most efficient scorers in the league. Yeah, I mean, the biggest improvement from his past season was his defense, and you could tell that defense was definitely a thing that Timberwolves wanted to work on this past year. And like Cat, he took defense seriously, and you love to see that from a star player. Like he would, like on screens, he's definitely not the best, but he definitely improved. Like he's no longer a liability. Like he can bang out with centers in the paint and hold his own. So his most important area to improve for next season is basically, I think, for me, it's fouls. He needs to get the fouls down. And that was a thing that the Timberwolves struggled with last year, is fouling way too much. And it got to the point where, he'd basically be in foul trouble every game and had to go out early because he just cannot stay in the game. And you can't have that you can't win games with your best player on the bench in the final minutes. And I kind of Cat's really efficient in the post, and most of his game was pick and pops, getting the ball at the top of the key, shooting or taking the guy off the dribble. But he's pretty good in the post. I would like to see him get more post up this season, and make that more of because he's great at it. Why take something away that's working? Something for him to kind of work on in the summer, or I guess, this summer. It's kind of just getting smarter. I don't know how you would work on that, but like get the basketball IQ up. There were many times throughout the season where he would just make bonehead plays, like try to do the flashy pass and just throw it nowhere. And I think if he can just play smart, he could be one of the best top 10 players in the league. Some might say he already is, but he solidified himself as a top 10 player in the league. But other than that, you guys know Cat. This series is kind of meant more for the bench players, the players you don't really know about. So yeah, that was Karl Anthony Towns. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening, and see you in the next one. Peace out.